Here's the Qualibrate login screen, and as you can see, you can log in and get into the main areas of Qualibrate. As you'll see here, there's actually a nice folder structure that's been set up, which will of course correspond with your business processes. And what we're going to do now is create a business flow recording. This recording will serve as a basis for your training, testing, automation, everything else that comes later. Once you click on the recording widget, you'll notice that the nice little controller pops up, which gives you full control over how you're recording and what you're recording. Now, as you'll see here, we've just created the log on area, which then all of the steps done to do the login will be captured under the log on area. Now, once that's done, we're going to change that, and actually, as you can see here, all of the data, all the information and actions to the system were captured throughout that. We're going to go ahead and create a quotation though. And as you'll see, we're creating the new create quotation area, which then we're going to go ahead and do a VA21 on within SAP in order to create that quote. As you'll see, we'll go through the normal steps now, creating the sold to party, shipped to party, etc. Remember, once again, all of these steps, all the actions being done to the system are being recorded as we go along, so that those will all be available later. And as you'll see here, we're saving the quotation that we just created. Qualibrate's automatically creating a status bar validation based upon there was a status bar that popped up to give us the new quotation number. Now keep in mind, within Qualibrate you can actually have verification points on anything within your system, so that maybe, for example, you need to check a particular order, or maybe you need to check for the, I don't know, the net value of the invoice like we're doing right here. So keep in mind, all of the information within your system can be verified anytime that you need, so that you can obviously validate that information as it's being sent back. Now we're going to go ahead and exit the SAP system and go back into our Qualibrate system as well to take a look at what was recorded. Here within the flow sequence, we can actually see each of the main business tasks that we had recorded. And with each of these, we can add comments. These comments are very valuable because they can be available for the trainees, they can be available for the testers later on to give them notes. You can also see the technical details of each of these business tasks to show you what was actually recorded. Now within the flow sequence of our business flow recording, we can actually drag and drop the main business events. We can also manipulate the steps that make up those business events, and of course if we want to restructure them we can, or for example if we want to delete them or start a new recording from a particular event, maybe that step had changed. Here's where you can add documentation so that we have one central repository which includes all the information related to the business process. Now we're going to go ahead and execute a training. So we've just selected the data we're going to use for our trainer, and you see the virtual trainer here is loading. That's going to show us step by step how to do this particular process. So for example, we're going to go ahead and log on to the system. You'll see there's a nice static screenshot. So this was based upon the recording we made earlier to show the trainee exactly where they should click, and of course any of the extra information they might need to execute that step. The education provider can of course add more information and give them as much as they need so that then they can execute through. We also have a nice record of exactly what trainings have been executed and how far they've gotten in those trainings. So as you'll see here in this particular case, the student didn't complete their training. Now we're going to go ahead and launch the manual tester. So we'll see here that we're selecting which data set we're going to need, and in this case the manual tester is loading. Here within the manual tester, we have multiple controls that let you go through your business process when you're executing a manual test. You can pass, fail, show me, do it for me, raise a defect, or add a comment to that particular step. So as you'll see, we're logging into the SAP system here, and we're going to say, well, show me exactly what step you mean, because maybe in this case the tester is not familiar with the particular step in the system they need to do. Or we can say, do it for me, which is a bit of a semi-automatic test, so it allows you to step through and just execute the parts of the test that you want automatically, and then of course execute the rest manually. As you'll see here, this business task contains a lot of steps, so we're going to automatically execute this entire grouping of steps. The main purpose being is that as a tester, you don't want to keep rerunning the areas you've already tested. We can use the automation to get us through the points. So for example, in this case, we need to create the quotation automatically to get us to the next step, which is what we actually want to test in that particular area. And of course we can add a defect from here, so for example we can add a screenshot of the particular area of the system that might be a problem. We can add of course the notations that go around it to show exactly what was in the defect and the naming and all that sort of stuff. Or for example at this stage you could fail your test and then of course continue along with the other thing. But I think you get the idea at this particular stage, so let's exit the manual tester and let's go take a look at some other areas in Qualibrate. So now we're going to go take a look at the logs. We're going to exit SAP and go back into Qualibrate to take a look at what was done from a testing perspective. As you'll see here, each of the steps that were passed are there, fully documented, along with when it happened, who did the test, etc. Now we can go take a look at the defect that were created related to that particular process. Of course, being able to set the status and severity and assign it to whoever within the organization needs to be working on it to fix it, etc. And we can upload files to upload additional information related to that defect as needed. Now we're going to go ahead and launch an automated test. We're going to select the data set that we're going to use, which has been pre-prepared in this case. As you'll see, this is automatically launching SAP and, of course, then executing through the steps and business processes that we've defined and recorded earlier. So keep in mind for Qualibrate that currently we're supporting SAP technologies and also web technologies. This is going to be expanded over the next few months and years to incorporate other technologies as we proceed with the growth of Qualibrate. But please keep in mind, it's that one original recording which provided not only your detailed business process documentation, the manual test case, the automated test case, and all of your training materials related to this particular business process. Here within the testing logs, we can see the status of that automated test that just ran to show whether it's passed or failed, and of course to give us all the relevant information. Now we're going to take a look at all the defects within our projects within this particular program, and of course we can take a look at the dashboards. This is infinitely configurable to allow you to report on any information that's available in Qualibrate. Now we can take a look at how we can manipulate the data, and in this case we can obviously make changes to allow for different data sets to be run as needed. We can also manipulate it with XLSs, so for example we can hand the Excel to a business process owner and ask them to fill in the rows and then re-execute it using Qualibrate. Well, thank you very much for sitting through our demo. We hope it was useful for you. Please don't hesitate to contact us, www.qualibrate.com. Thank you very much.